What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Belgrade between Uros Medic and Daniel Rodriguez. I know this card on paper doesn't look the sexiest. It's not the flashiest. We don't got the sexy names here, but I do think that there's going to be a lot of fun performances. There's going to be some fun debuts, and there should be a whole lot of violence. So without further ado, let's get into the first fight of the night between Marina Spasić and Stephanie Luciano. I don't mind Marina Spasić here as the underdog. I think she does have pretty solid striking. She's got a lot of KOs on record, so if you're the kind of guy that wants to play someone by finish, this makes sense. And you could also potentially play Stephanie Luciano by submission. Personally, my pick is going to be Stephanie Luciano because I do think she can get the grappling going, even though I think the striking might be pretty close, pretty even, and this could be a more competitive fight than people are expecting. I trust the cardio. I trust the experience of Stephanie Luciano. And I think if anyone's going to have a more well-rounded game plan, it's going to be Stephanie Luciano. So the fact that she's live on the ground and on the feet, it's pretty close in my head. I'm going to go with Luciano. I'm going to say 29-28 decision where Marina Spasić wins the first round. And then Stephanie, she builds into the fight. That's what we're going to go with. I wouldn't play the money line. I'm not going to really play anything here. I don't know. Yeah, if you want to play something, maybe Spasić money line is a good value, but I would stay away from this one. So moving on to the next fight of the card, we got Jovan Leka versus Aleksandar Poppeck. Everyone loves some Jovan Leka. Everyone's talking about this fucking blob right here like he is the lock of the card. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Now, I will also tell you that I don't have any sack, and I'm not picking Aleksandar Poppeck, but every time I kind of just think through this, I start speaking out loud to see how I would break this fight down. I want to pick Aleksandar Poppeck. Like I said, I got no sack. So let's break it down. Jovan Leka, this guy right here, this fucking absolute stud specimen is good. He is going to be a good heavyweight in my head. I think when it comes to the heavyweight division, he's above the Thomas Petersons, the Jamal Pogues, the Pat Guilhermes. He's decently well-rounded for a heavyweight. He's somewhat quick. He's got some good power, but he's a fucking heavyweight. And Aleksandar Poppeck, to me, is like a low-level light heavyweight that has a good style to potentially move up. And why I say that? Sure, he's been taken down. There's a bunch of tape of him looking bad. I do think he's improved recently, though. And I think there's also been a fight on short notice that you can use as an argument to say that he's a guy that could adjust well on short notice. And it's this one right here against Samuel Shavaria, sorry. And this guy was 7-0, undefeated when he was fighting Aleksandar Poppeck. Kind of a KO guy, more of a striker from what I saw. I mean, I didn't see too much of that fight, to be frank with you, because it ended somewhat quicker. But Aleksandar Poppeck uses his takedowns offensively, gets him down on the ground, and then has some success and finds a TKO from there. Improvements, man. His takedown defense hasn't really been tested too much recently, and I'm a little bit reluctant to say that he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns from Jovan Leka, but part of me thinks, dude, just with the way this fight could play out on the feet, with the way I saw Aleksandar Poppeck, let's go back to his profile here. In this fight right here against Tomasz Narkun, where he looked pretty good, he showcased a bunch of good leg kicks, and he stayed safe defensively off the back foot, and he circled around, found low kicks from different angles. To me, that's another path to victory I have not seen anyone really considering. Oh, he's taking this fight on short notice, yada, yada, yada. When you add in the fact that he won as a big underdog on short notice 2 fights ago against an undefeated prospect, when you add in the fact that he's a pretty big light heavyweight, he's decently defensively sound on the back foot, isn't too uncomfortable off the back foot, and he's facing a guy like Jovan Leka who is quick for the heavyweight division, but we're talking about quick for 260 pounds versus 205 pounds. Poppeck, to me, I don't think is chinny. I didn't really see any fights where he got KO'd that bad. There was one moment, I think that was the Dusko Todorovic fight, actually, who's fighting later on this card. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, no, he got subbed in that fight. He got KO'd by Jamal Hill. So he's not chinny. He's like a tough guy. Everyone's picking Jovan Leka by finish. I can understand why. He's a bigger guy, 60-pound weight advantage. This guy's taking it on short notice. But I like the fact that he doesn't have to cut weight for his cardio. I like the fact that he can circle around on the back foot, find low kicks. And then I like the fact that he can find takedowns in the first round. Everyone, this is why I'm a little bit skeptical about Jovan Leka. It's because everyone worships that dumbass fucking performance on the Contender Series against Abdully Nurtsov fucking something Layev, right? Let's find his name. Azamat Nuftilayev. This guy, this gentleman. He's not like a bad wrestler. I'm not saying he's shit. What I am saying is this guy didn't get the dominant position, and Jovan Leka was essentially pretty good at fucking surviving. And because of that, he death gassed, and he looked horrible on the feet in round 2. His takedowns looked much worse going into round 2. In between the fucking rounds, you could see this guy death gasping, looking for any air that was inside of the apex at that point, and he probably took up all of it. So it's like, are we really rating Jovan Leka for beating a guy that, you know, kind of dominated him? I don't say dominated, but definitely had a whole lot of success in the wrestling in round 1, and he was just good at surviving. He showcased good balance, but not a good ability to separate from the clinch, not ability to get the fight back at range. And now I don't think Aleksandar Poppeck's this good chain wrestler, and Nurftalayev, whatever his fucking name is probably a better wrestler than Aleksandar Poppeck. Like, for sure, more of a chain wrestler, more strong, more powerful, but a guy that's quick, that can just blast a double leg, could get a guy like Jovan Leka down. And Jovan's been taken down on the regional scene. And while I do think he has good grappling and he's used offensive grappling to his own advantage at times, I've also seen him struggle in moments as well. And everyone's saying, oh, he's got this great cardio, bro. He's a full camp. I mean, bro, like, there was moments where it looked like he wasn't super with it in round 3, building into that fight on the Contender Series. Like, yeah, sure, he went 3 rounds, and yeah, he built into that fight. But, man, I mean, shit, I don't really train that much. I think I could go out there round 2 and round 3 and put a little bit of something on Abdul Nurftalayev, man. Shit, maybe I'm tripping. Jovan Leka's good. He's quick. Like I said, him and Mick Parkin, bro, one day, man, they're going to match up for the belt. These two are fucking absolute marauders, man. They're the future of the heavyweight division. I am joking, but he kind of gives me that Mick Parkin vibe of the guy that just beats the bottom guys, looks fairly technical. Another thing to notice, too, he is 24. So, yes, while he can improve fight to fight, it also likely means he hasn't seen too much. Where is he training? He's training, I was looking at this earlier. I don't really love where he's training. I didn't really see any, like, solid fighters that he was training with. One of these Serbian kind of guys. And one thing about these Serbian guys, man, while they have fun hands to watch and they are pretty violent for the most part, a lot of them have grappling holes. Or okay grappling. Jovan Leka, like I said, he had some good scrambles on the Contender Series against Nurftalayev. Let me pop this back up for you. He had some good scrambles for sure. He's been on the Contender Series. He's been to the UFC level. So is Poppeck, who lost to Jamal Hill in the Contender Series. And Jamal Hill had a lot of one-way traffic. But, I mean, Jamal Hill is a much, like, tougher stylistic matchup, I would kind of say. Jovan Leka definitely can't find a KO. He definitely can't find takedowns. I just worry about Aleksandar Poppeck being quick enough to where Jovan Leka's footwork and his craftiness and his quickness for light heavyweight doesn't mean shit. A guy like Jovan Leka is going to be slower than Aleksandar Poppeck, and a guy that's used to having such a speed advantage in the fucking heavyweight division. Now he's a slower guy against someone that's comfortable at the back foot, can land some low kicks, and has a little bit of grappling to his game. If Leka's not getting this fight in the clinch, if he's not like tracking him down and finding takedowns, dude, I'm not confident. But if Leka gets on top, Leka definitely could find a finish, definitely could find a sub. And for the record, I think he's a pretty good heavyweight, like not a, well, maybe a ranked level. But I'm really low in the heavyweight division. If you can't tell, let's go to the rankings, to be frank. Like I always say with the heavyweight division, we need like 3 guys before we sign anyone to the heavyweight division. It's got to be like Curtis Blades. It's got to be, we're right here, right? We need like Curtis Blades. Who's someone else we can add in here? Fucking Marcin, Tybura. Those kind of guys. We need like 3 of those guys. And for anyone making a debut before they make the UFC, fuck the Contender Series. They got to beat one of those 3 guys before we sign them to the roster, because these low-level heavyweight fights, man, they take years off my life, man. I'm serious, bro. These fights are fucking horrible. But Jovan Leka is like a heavyweight that I somewhat believe in. I think he'll beat like 2-3 guys, even if he loses this one. I'm picking him by decision. I think Poppeck will be a little bit tricky in moments. But yeah, like I said, it is short notice. And even though it's a good stylistic matchup for Poppeck's not that crafty of a guy. He's got a good overhand right. Maybe he finds a KO early. But Jovan Leka, I mean, look at the blubber on this guy. He probably takes a shot. So yeah, big breakdown for a fucking low-level fight. But yeah, Jovan Leka, just be cautious with the money line. Be cautious. I'm going to go 30-27. Nah, fuck it. 29-28. All right, next fight of the card. Nina Milošević versus Hailey Cowan. Okay, I'll do a quicker breakdown here. Hailey Cowan's not good. Her striking's not that good. Her takedown entries aren't that good. And she's been finished a lot of times. Her submission defense isn't good. Nina Milošević, to me, will find a finish in this fight. I think she's the better striker. I think she's got danger on the feet. I think on the ground, she's got a good submission game as well. I could see a club and sub. I could see Hailey Cowan shooting in on a bad takedown. I'm going Nina Milošević by round 1 submission. And it's not very often where a kid like me, where a kid like Smeezy MMA is picking a women's MMA finish, but we're picking it here, man. I'm feeling the fucking vibes for this Belgrade card. And I think that there's some good value on that potential submission from Nino Milošević or finish. I'm curious. We'll check that out later. I'm going to have a betting video posted probably throughout this week talking about what you should bet on this card. We're going to take some looks at it today and tomorrow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, moving on. Next fight of the card, Mateusz Rębecki versus Kyle Prepolec, okay? Kyle Prepolec, man. This is a guy. All right, let's come on. UFC website. Let's fucking work here. Good shit, bud. This is the classic Mateusz Rębecki fight where he just should run through Kyle Prepolec. But Prepolec on the feet has the type of tools that can draw Mateusz Rębecki into a dogfight. And when it comes to a dogfight, Mateusz Rębecki is a stupid fucking fighter, man. I bet him last time against Grant Dawson. I felt like that was a good bet. I felt like he should have finished him, but as soon as he hurts him, he shoots the takedown. That's the kind of guy you're dealing with here, okay? He's fighting Ľudovít Klein down 2 rounds. Ľudovít Klein breaks his ankle in round 3, and he didn't notice it, which I don't blame him too much. His corner doesn't notice it. If he would have stood up, he would have won that fight too. He's not the smartest fucking fighter is what I'm trying to say. He's very likable, and I think this fight is pretty underrated because if it is on the feet, it's going to be scrap city, baby. Kyle Prepolec had a very good performance against Drew Dober. Was honestly potentially on his way to winning that fight should he have not been dropped at the end of round 2, I want to say. Round 3, then the point deduction was taken, and then Drew Dober pushed for that finish and found a KO, which props to Drew Dober. That was good stuff from his end, so maybe Drew would have won that regardless. But Kyle Prepolec looked very good in moments, traded with Drew Dober, traded in the pocket, and on the feet. Like, he's going to be a game customer for Mateusz Rębecki. We'll allow the scrap a little bit. We'll get some fun moments on the feet if it does take place on the feet. Now, Kyle Prepolec has been taken down. He's been marauded by Benoit Saint-Denis, and Mateusz Rębecki has a similar marauder style with that power on the feet, with the willingness to trade on the feet, with the takedown threat. And I think the marauder style from Mateusz Rębecki on the feet will set up the takedowns, and he will find the takedowns, and I think he will find a finish in probably the first 2 rounds. I'm going to lean round 2, and I'm going to say a TKO on the ground. I do think that he can find success on the feet as well, but I do fucking worry, you know? Like, Drew Dober is a good fighter. That was a good performance at plus 475. Not plus 475. At minus 650, if you're laying that, which I don't even think that's the fight odds, to be frank with you guys. Yeah, minus 550. If you're playing that just jumped to minus 700. Nah, that's tripping. All right, whatever that is, bro. Like, that's a fucking choice. Like, I would put Mateusz Rębecki minus 400. I think that's fair. Kyle Prepolec, a little bit underrated, has had some success against good fighters, mainly the Drew Dober fight. But even though he's tough, even though stylistically he will have success on the feet against Rębecki, most likely, he probably gets finished. Yeah. Next fight of the card. Denis Buzukja versus Bogdan Grad. All right. I'm realizing I'm spending a lot of time on these breakdowns, man. I watched my tape. I want to give you a good breakdown. But let's get into this fight. Why are you guys betting Bogdan Grad, bro? What the fuck am I seeing? Denis Buzukja is just this guy with horrible grappling all of a sudden? No, it's not the case. He trains with Marab. He trains with Stirling. All right? He had good takedown defense against Francis Marshall. He's been hard to take down for the moment. I know Sean Woodson had his success against him, but this is one of those fights where I think he will get taken down. And Bogdan Grad is a good wrestler, but on the feet, I think I favor Denis Buzukja. He's more powerful. And while Buzukja has massive holes on the feet, is Bogdan Grad this technical maestro that's going to draw out the right reactions from him and get that shit across the finish line? I don't fucking think so, dude. I don't think so. I think Bogdan Grad's going to get the grappling going by being relentless. And I think he's going to get dropped or hurt or have some bad moment that's going to make him stick to the wrestling. And this fight, that could be really fun if it's a pure striking fight. And if he's trying to entertain the people, dude, Bogdan Grad absolutely can't get slept. And if he's trading in the pocket, I know Denis Buzukja is quote-unquote chinny, but people love to do that shit. Oh, bro, they're chinny, man. And you actually look at who he's gotten KO'd by, like, all right, bro, what the fuck are you saying? Like, Francis Marshall, sure, he hurt him a couple times, but it was accurate, clean shots that landed clean. And Denis Buzukja was actually tough, dogged his way through it, built his way back into that fight, and almost won it, man. This split decision, you know? Francis Marshall is a guy that arguably beat Manuel Souza. Or no, Myron Santos, my bad. Different MS. arguably beat Myron Santos. Okay, Francis Marshall was a little bit underrated. I know he lost to Marcio Barbosa. It was just a horrible fucking situation. If you know ball, you know Marcio Barbosa is better than Bogdan Grad on the feet. He's more dangerous, more powerful than Bogdan Grad on the feet. And who else has he been KO'd by? Let's just rejog the memory. Jamal Emmers, bro. Jamal Emmers has great power, right? The Sean Woodson fight was, I remember that being a weird fight. Actually, I'm confusing that with a different Sean Woodson fight. I didn't go back and rewatch that fight, so maybe there's some answers there that I didn't see. But for the most part, he has good takedown defense, and when he is taken down, he has good ability to scramble back up to the feet. Francis Marshall was on top of him when he was fully rocked. He was able to survive, created a scramble, got back up to the feet, and when he was taken back down, he wasn't down there for too long. So he's not retarded off of his back on the feet. He has good power. He has the frame advantage, and he has an ability to snipe Bogdan Grad. And he also has good cardio. So if this fight goes long, Bogdan Grad might not be able to build into this fight the way he's been able to build in other fights. And in hindsight, having a close fight with Michael Aswell, and I know styles make matchups, is not good. It's not good. That wasn't that impressive of a fucking performance. And maybe he was just banging because it was the Contender Series, but he also gets sniped by Tom Nolan. Buzukja has good power. I don't think he's precise. There's things about Buzukja striking that I fucking hate. I hate how often he throws that lead left hook. I hate it. I hate it. If he just had a stellar jab, I'm not even kidding you. If he had a stellar jab that I could rely on, I would probably pick him over Bogdan Grad, but the way he throws that fucking lead left hook is stupid. It's stupid. It fucking pisses me off. He loads it up. He throws it wide. And I think opponents should be able to capitalize on it. Bogdan Grad has relentless wrestling, probably the better cardio, should be able to take down Denis Buzukja, maybe not hold him down, but I think he will entertain the clinch. He's a better chain wrestler than Francis Marshall as well, and he's more likely to pressure than Francis Marshall. So, I don't know, man. I think this is a sneaky, very good underdog. Will I play it? Probably not. I might touch Buzukja by KO, but I also could see this being kind of like the Naimov fight where Bogdan Grad got rocked and then survived and, lost the fight. I could see it going to decision as well, is what I'm trying to say. So, Grad's got good recovery. Buzukja underrated power, but he's not super trustable in this spot. I do think chin issues or overrated. I think he could eat clean shots, get hurt, and the recovery is decent chin recovery. He's just Fate's fucking power McGee's, bro. All right, so Bogdan Grad's a pick. I'm going to pick him by decision. Could see a KO on both sides, to be frank with you. But I'm going to give him like a 51% chance to win this fight. Don't play minus 200, brother. I like Bogdan Grad. He's likable. I hate Denis Buzukja, but shit, I'm scared on this one. Moving on to the next fight of the card. At this point, I am 17 minutes deep, man. Holy shit, ski. All right, so I might either speed up this video or just start running through these shits a little bit quicker. Can we scroll up to Mark Vologdin, please? Here we go. Mark Vologdin versus Borislav Nikolić. All right, I'm going with the kid, man. I'm going with Mark Vologdin. All right, I know Borislav Nikolić is this popular pick. If you go to Tapology here, let's see. 78% of people. This is my first dog of the card. I can understand both sides. I watched a lot of Borislav Nikolić tape, probably 8+ fights. I've been really trying to get a good read on this guy. And what I will say about him, bro, he is relentless. He is a fucking dog. And he is fun to watch, man. Really fun to watch. One thing that is bad about him, though, is he gets behind in almost every single one of his fights. His takedown defense might be some of the worst takedown defense in the entire UFC right now. It's horrible. It's horrible. He's powerful. He's a big guy for the division, but he is taking this on short notice. And a guy like him taking this fight on short notice, and typically he's been behind in fights early on and came back and either found a KO, which is why a 5-round fight really does help him. Right? He has 5 rounds worth of cardio. It seems like he's found multiple finishes in round 4 after a high-paced fight. So he should be okay on short notice, 3 rounds, but you never know. A big guy like him cutting weight on short notice, it could be a bad weight cut. All I'm going to say, dude, that's all I'm going to say. And he's probably not drilling takedown defense. And this is the hot take I have this fight. I think Mark Vologdin can win this fight with the wrestling. And he has tools on the feet as well. And we've seen Borislav Nikolić struggle a little bit with shorter kind of opponents that can wrestle, will pressure a little bit. And one comparison I'm going to make directly is Brad Katona, because they actually have a fight together between Nikolić and Brad Katona. Now, Katona found some success. It wasn't like he was a world beater. But Brad Katona on top of, who's the other? I think it's Kleber, maybe? Yeah, Kleber even had some fucking success on the feet as well. More success than he probably should have against a guy like Borislav Nikolić. It felt like he was having a rough time with such a short guy. And he's not like really great in combinations. You know what I mean? He's not a counter guy. He's not a feint guy. He's kind of the way I would describe his style on the feet. I don't know if I already said this. Is like a shitty Marwan Rahiki, the way he kind of throws combinations, throws them from the hip, really puts a lot of power on his shots. But I'm not super sold in his power, especially not against such a tough guy and Mark Vologdin, who I know, yes, he did just go to a draw, basically got beat by John Castaneda, but I think Castaneda has been underrated for some time. Well-rounded guy, had a very good pacing in that fight as well. He also got nutshot multiple times. Mark Vologdin did, but Castaneda, switch stance, awkward timing, decent striking defense, ability to grapple as well. Mark Vologdin shot 6 takedowns in that fight. People forget, man, Mark Vologdin has a good submission game. He has shot a lot of takedowns on the regional scene against certain opponents. He is kind of like a shorter frame, which I know, 135 division, bantamweight, 5'3", not going to work out more times than not. I just don't know if I'm sold on this Nikolić guy. I've seen him outstruck. I've seen him outgrappled. And he seems to find a way to fluke fights. But on short notice against Mark Vologdin, it's going to be hard to snipe him. Mark Vologdin is going to have a lot of volume for him. And like Mark Vologdin's so hittable. This is a very low confidence pick. But to me, Borislav Nikolić is just not really touchable. And one thing I want to say, I just want to say this to get this out of the way. Nicholas Huende, the guy that fought Borislav Nikolić, if the UFC somehow sees this, which they won't, because we're sitting at 6 subscribers. Go ahead and subscribe right now, by the way. But that guy needs to get signed to the UFC. Put him on the Contender Series. That guy's nasty. And if he's not nasty, that just means Borislav Nikolić made him look nasty, which is not out of the cards, seeing how Borislav Nikolić's film has looked. But yeah, like I said, there's been multiple short opponents, like 5'4", 5'5"-ish, that have had success against Borislav Nikolić with their striking. And I view Mark Vologdin a similar level of a striker of like a Brad Katona, maybe a little bit more of a dog, a better ability to take shots. And some people describe Mark as super quick. I don't really see him as that quick, you know. Speed might be pretty similar. But Mark does try to roll with shots and then extend combinations. That's the last thing I do want to say. I don't like Borislav Nikolić's extended combinations. And Vologdin will extend his combinations. And against Andrea Luna Martinetti, he had a lot of problems with the clinch. I don't see this fucking crafty clinch from Borislav Nikolić. And if he does get in the clinch, Mark Vologdin just hit a trip on this kid, man. Hit a trip on him. I think there's a world where he controls Borislav for a round. Borislav has very good get-ups. He has a good submission game, but Vologdin has a good submission game. He's got good takedowns as well. And I think the pressure from a smaller opponent that lands a takedown early, which is how I think this fight will play out. I know Vologdin's fun to watch, but I think the pressure, high volume, he does find different angles. He does kind of throw at weird times. I think Vologdin's a tricky customer on your debut, short notice, especially a guy that's, struggled a lot throughout his career and kind of relied on finding the big moment late or edging the decision out after getting controlled and finding the good moments. Relied on his cardio. This is short notice. This isn't 5 rounds. He doesn't have more opportunities to fluke. He doesn't have more opportunities to find the moments. He's got to be better from the get-go, and I'm not sure I've seen the takedown defense improvements. So that's enough breakdown on this fight. Vologdin pick. Unconfident, man. Next, fight of the card, Oban Elliott versus Michael Oban Elliott versus Michael Oliveira, man. I am Team Oliveira. I love this kid. Now, minus 360, debut. How do I feel about it? Not great. I think he finds a KO. I understand Oban Elliott is a little bit underrated. He did get dropped by Val Woodburn. He did have some bad moments. I'm going to pick Oliveira by round 2 KO, and I'm just going to describe his style to you, and then I'll give you a couple reasons why I think he beats Oban Elliott. But Michael Oliveira has some weirdly close similarities to Alex Pereira, right? People aren't going to like me saying that. How are you going to compare a guy? I don't give a fuck. There are certain things I see in this guy's game. I'm like, yeah, this is very Pereira-esque, right? That low kick that he throws, no telegraph, similar to Pereira. He has a lead high kick, very similar to the one that Pereira landed against Yuri Prohaska, and the way that he kind of sets up his shots at range and when he's going to go trade in the pocket and find these big shots. When he's at range, he loves to go for those straight punches to the body, the jab to the body, the straight right to the body. Now, where he's different from Pereira is he's got a better jab, right? Now, maybe just relative to the amount of success they have against their opponents. But he's more reliant on the jab, I think is a better way to put it. He's got a powerful jab. He's weirdly rangy. He's super powerful, and he's very patient. Like, he'll pressure you. He'll score from range. He'll land the low kicks that are untelegraphed. That jab will get through. It's stiff, pretty untelegraphed from what I can tell. He's got a weirdly long reach, and he connects with guys from range. So he's scoring from range, right? This is not like a Manel Kopp who's a pressure counter striker and tends to struggle from range because he can't score, isn't scoring well with the low kick, isn't really getting that jab going. Not that Manel has bad tools there. He's just shorter, doesn't seem to get that going. Michael Oliveira is a pressure counter striker with the strong jab that is eating you alive because of how powerful it is. And then he's working in those low kicks, which are also powerful, also untelegraphed. And then he waits for you to throw, and then he's looking for good counter combinations. That straight right, a 1-2. He's got a good 2-3. Victor Valenzuela is who he fought in the the Dana White's Contender Series, and he looked pretty damn good doing it. Like, I watched that fight, I'm like, dude, this guy has all the tools I want to see in a striking prospect. I haven't seen too much in his takedown defense, which is where I'm a little bit concerned. Like, Oban could be weird, could be quick, could find some takedowns and put Oliveira in situations we haven't seen. But something about Oliveira being patient, not like trading like a fucking idiot. It's nice to see. It's refreshing to see. I think this guy's in like special forces or some shit in Brazil. So, I mean, if you're big in the army, that's another cool thing. I think he's just a fucking badass dude. There was a fight on the regional scene, though. I want to say it was the fight before the Contender Series against something Pereira. And that guy's not good. And Oliveira took him to a decision. And there were a couple shots that were getting through. You're like, oh shit, bro. He's a fraud, man. He's going to get fluked. And I will say, like, he weirdly has that style where he will get fluked at some point. Like, what I will say, my prediction for his career, like, he's doing very well. He might beat like a fucking Joaquin Buckley in the rankings, or like a Mike Mallet if he shows like good takedown defense and he looks great and he's going to be like minus 400 over like an Uros Medic or some shit at some point. And then even though he might beat Uros Medic more times than not, if the fight actually played out 10 times, he's the type of guy that throws a straight right looking for the counter and just backs out with his head up or without his hands up, chin up, and just gets fucking binked by like an Uros, right? Kind of similar to like what we saw Loner Kavanagh and Charles Johnson. The way he exits sometimes with his chin up is concerning. And he's been clipped a couple times doing that, but it's been against not very powerful opponents. And while Oban has some power, it's not fucking ridiculous concrete level hands. So, I mean, that's kind of the breakdown of Michael Oliveira. I could talk a lot about this kid. If he doesn't have the most impressive performance against an opponent, he's not fucking KOing him early, it doesn't mean he's shit, guys. I'm just saying these counter strikers, they're patient. And just because they're patient, looking for the right moments, mitigating the risk, and trying to find the KO on their own terms, letting the fight play out naturally, it doesn't mean they're dog shit. So Oban, we'll see. Like, he tends to be a guy that will try to brawl a little bit. I think brawling will be his demise. I don't trust his chin maybe as much as a Victor Valenzuela even. So I'm going to pick a round 2 Michael Oliveira KO. I think he's going to look patient. I think that jab's going to be money. I think Oban will shoot a couple takedowns. We might be clinching up a little bit, but back at range, Oliveira's going to score well with that jab, the low kick, maybe find a good shot, drop Oban Elliott late round 1. Round 2 comes around, and I think he'll find some shot off a counter where Oban Elliott's trying to come out and make something happen. But yeah, like I said, takedown defense a little bit unproven. Cardio a little bit unproven. He seems pretty intelligent with the way that he uses his energy, but we haven't really seen too many fights go long outside of that Pereira fight, and he didn't look super fucking juicy in the later rounds. So a little bit careful with playing the money line here, just because there are a bunch of unknowns with the grappling, but he should get this one done by KO or decision. And I do think that with his style, he has a very good opportunity to go pretty far in the welterweight division. He's 28 years old. I'm not going to say future champ potential, but like, hey, if he makes the improvements, definitely is one hell of a contender, right? You know, Islam Makhachev's champ right now. I don't think he'll ever beat Islam Makhachev, but like a Michael Morales, if he develops good takedown defense stylistically, that could be a guy that fucking snipes Michael Morales. All I'm going to say. Now, he could get finished by Oban Elliott. Why am I saying this shit right now? Fuck. All I'm saying is you should be a fan of this Michael Oliveira guy. He's got a cool style, somewhat similar to Alex Pereira. Round 2 KO is the pick. Don't bet the money line. Maybe play KO at like minus 200 if that's what you're feeling. But I think decision's possible as well, weirdly enough, if he drops Oban Elliott and Oban just fucking gritty maxes. Yeah. All right, cool. Next fight of the card. Ľudovít Klein versus Tofiq Musayev. How deep are we into this? 29 minutes. Fuck, bud. All right. Well, okay, there are some fights later on in the card. I don't take that much. We'll go through this one quick. I always say quick. I'm not quick. I love to go in depth. But Ľudovít Klein versus Tofiq Musayev. I'm not playing Ľudovít Klein money line. One thing you will notice with me, man, I'm not a guy that likes to play favorite chalk a lot of the time, unless I'm pretty confident or I got a good parlay piece. And you'll see the betting breakdowns, I think, either tomorrow or the day after. But Tofiq Musayev is a sneaky good play on the money line because he does have some good takedowns. He does have good power. He does have a good threat on the feet. Part of me thinks that, while Tofiq did very well against Anaxio Bahamondes, Bahamondes is like a taller, lengthier guy, a guy that's easier to take down. He's not very fantastic off of his back. And while we have seen Ľudovít Klein taken down by Gamrot, Gamrot's probably a better technical striker than Tofiq Musayev, and he's a better chain wrestler, and he's more proven than Tofiq Musayev. And Musayev got taken down, and he got submitted by meaty back Oralby, but everyone's just making that as their reference point to say, yeah, bro, this guy's not that good of a grappler, bro. Oralby fucking took him down. We saw the holes in the grappling, and he only beat Ignacio Bahamondes because he cheated. I mean, shit, if he's cheating, that's a good thing in MMA. You get away with cheating in MMA, but not only that, he found takedowns. When he was on top, he was very dangerous. If you're getting Ľudovít Klein down, he can score. And Ľudovít Klein is coming off that ankle injury, like I mentioned earlier when I was breaking down Rębecki. He was winning that fight. He looked good. And Rębecki is like kind of a similar matchup to Tofiq Musayev. Musayev's like a little bit bigger, and he's got more power. Well, Rębecki might be a little bit of a better grappler in terms of the wrestling. Musayev, like he's not a fucking slouch with the takedowns, and he will be kind of a marauder type where he's going to throw power even though he's not the most technical, and he will really work to get those takedowns. And shit, he might cheat while doing it, and that's always a positive if you're going to take Tofiq Musayev on the money line. So Ľudovít Klein's my pick. I wouldn't play minus 220, minus 200 is like a 66% chance. I give him like a 62, 63% chance. There's too much unknown about how he's going to come back from that injury. It was a bad injury too. Very bad injury. So I'm a fan of Ľudovít Klein. Good technical striker. I think he stuffs the takedowns and looks like the more technical striker on the feet. I'm going to say 29-28. Tofiq Musayev will either find a takedown or maybe a big moment, man. He's got heavy hands. But Ľudovít Klein's a pick here. Let's move on to the next fight of the card. Milošević versus Noah Gagnon. All right, so you guys probably don't know who they are. If you do know, props to you. Let's talk some ball. Milošević is a guy with a lot of finishes, got a lot of hype on his name. I see on Twitter when everyone's asking who's the most hyped debut of this weekend that you're looking forward to, it's Milošević. And I can't blame you. He's fucking fun to watch. Very fun to watch. Let's go to his Tapology profiles. You can see what I'm talking about here. 19-3. Look at all these finishes. 2 losses by decision, which matters. Noah Gagnon, another guy, gets a lot of finishes. I think he has some decision wins as well. No, he's none. All right. There we go. So in theory, this should be a finish. It should be. I think it will be too. But stylistically, this is a very interesting fight. Milošević, he's got a good submission game. Not necessarily like the greatest grappler, can get taken down. Gagnon could weirdly find takedowns here. Gagnon's the better wrestler between the two. On the feet, what you're going to see from Milošević is a lot of volume and a lot of jabbing. It's Milošević, man. Straight jabs from this kid. Jab, 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 left hook. He's not really great in extending combinations. When he extends combinations, they get a little bit wide. I've watched some of his boxing tape. I've watched some of his MMA tape. And I know some people are like, yo, bro, he beat fucking Oliveira, bro. Cowboy Oliveira, dude. Cowboy Oliveira had good moments against Kevin Holland. Yeah, true. But if you go back and you actually look at Cowboy Oliveira since that Kevin Holland fight right here, he's picked up quite a few fucking losses if you can't tell. Great examples right there. So that's not really an impressive performance to me. Even then, Cowboy Oliveira took him down, and then he got the reversal, and then he found the KO. So kind of impressive. But on the feet, dude, I swear this guy's very open to counters. I swear this guy might not be as powerful as like some people think he is. Maybe he is really powerful, but he fights a lot behind that jab, and he weirdly just looks gassed out at times after the first 2.5 minutes, after all these exchanges. And like I said, he does have a good submission game. He is not the worst grappler ever. So you can say he's well-rounded, but I think there's like enough holes in his game, right? I've watched so much tape. I'm trying to like picture what I actually saw on tape because I'm blending some fighters together. But like what I took away from this fight, this guy throws a lot of volume and extended combinations. It just looks like he's going to get hit at some point. And it seems like he would be the kind of guy that gas out late. And that's kind of shown in my head, maybe by these 2 unanimous decisions. I want to say I saw him lose one of these fights by decision. I forgot which one. But another data point to look at is Gagnon's also lost by decision as well when it went to decision. But that fight, he actually fought a pretty good grappler, if I'm not mistaken. A guy that's 10-1. You see a lot of wins by decision, a lot of wins by submission. If you watch that fight, this guy was shooting a lot of takedowns. So to me, I know who the better wrestler is when it comes to the jiu-jitsu. If you want to argue on the Janicic side, go for it. Noah Gagnon on the feet, I think, is a guy that's better in extended combinations. I think defensively, he's a little bit better, dude. This is fight of the night potential, by the way. I should have led by saying that when this fight came to play out and I put it on screen. But this could be like the fight of the night type of fight. This also could be just an early fucking slime out. And this also could be very sloppy hoops. It really could be sloppy hoops. But what I see here, Noah Gagnon's good at extending combinations. He's the better wrestler. When it comes to cardio between these two, I weirdly trust Noah Gagnon a little bit more. I know Janicic has more experience. You see the 19-3. I might just actually pull this up right here because you're not trying to look at this bullshit. What the fuck are we doing, UFC, man? Yeah, right here. So I picked Noah Gagnon by round 2 KO. I'm not going to act like you can't see that on screen. But I could see this fight going a lot of ways. I'm weirdly confident Gagnon. Next thing I do want to mention, too, is the fucking line movement, which has been ridiculous. Where Noah Gagnon, if you can see this, opened at plus 375 and has now moved to the favorite. If that doesn't tell you, bro, books are respecting the action. Sharps love the Gagnon side. I bet Gagnon, I don't know how to say his fucking name. Noah, NG. Noah, we're going to call him Noah. Noah, I mean, people are liking the side. The Sharps are liking him. The books are respecting the action. And 80-something% of people are fucking picking Miloš Janicic. A lot more coming around to the Gagnon side. Earlier on, Noah had like maybe 10% of votes. That's when I was picking him. That's when I bet him. I bet him as an underdog. But hey, to each its own. In this matchup, we're picking Noah. I'm picking him by round 2 KO. I think Miloš is going to get caught in an extended combination, maybe in round 1 and then survive. And then round 2, same thing comes around. I also think that if Noah's not liking what he's seeing, similar to the Mark Vologdin fight, he can take this fight down to the ground. Noah also has good low kicks. Miloš has been open to low kicks. And Noah has a good switch stance style. One thing I do worry about, though, is I've seen fights where Noah has been getting tagged by a decent bit of jabs, and Miloš has basically nothing but a jab at times. So we're going Noah. I think this should be a fun fight, potential fight of the night. Both fun guys. I don't know how far they will go, but if Dana White's Contender Series is your type of thing, this is a cool fight to look into, man. Watch a little bit of tape on this one. So, yeah, there you go, man. All right, moving on to the next fight of the card, baby. Vlasto Chepo. Yeah, let's go for that. I like this guy, man. A lot of fun. Gilbert Urbina, yeah, I get it. He's not great. So if you want to hate on this matchup, go for it. I'm not going to be the guy saying, wait, man, if you actually think about it, Vlasto Chepo's a fucking marauder. He is a marauder. And this will be a fun, violent fight more than likely. I don't want to jinx it because Gilbert Urbina could take him down. And we've seen Vlasto Chepo have massive holes in his grappling. But when you talk about a fucking entertaining fighter that just likes violence and is fucking there to club and sub and sock 'em, bop 'em fucking robots, Vlasto Chepo is the man that comes on screen in my head. Let's go here so you can see what this gentleman looks like. Yeah, barnyard scrap, man. This guy's a fucking dog. Vlasto El Chapo Chepo. He's got a lot of fans behind him out of Belgrade. Minus 300 is kind of ridiculous. Like, I would probably put him minus 130-ish, minus 140, minus 150. Probably minus 150. A little bit. Minus 140. I like that. Gilbert Urbina, yeah, he's been KO'd a few times. Yeah, he lost to Brian Battle, Charles Radke, and Uros Medic, but these guys are better than Vlasto Chepo. But on the feet, Vlasto Chepo is a guy that's going to fucking go from the bell straight at your face, wing and hooks, sock 'em, bop 'em style, man. Back in the barnyard scrap dog days, you're going to see Vlasto Chepo out there fucking coming at guys. So I think he's going to go out there swinging wild. I think Gilbert Urbina probably gets caught and KO'd in the first round. If you go on Vlasto Chepo's thing right here, 9 TKOs wins by the first round. He's got a few submission wins in the first round, but his grappling's really not that good. People will tell you, though, this guy's one of the worst grapplers in the UFC. I think that's a little bit misleading because his takedown defense is a little bit better than I was expecting. Because I saw someone talk about this fight just to see a prediction when I was out on a little run. And they were saying this guy's the worst grappling in the UFC. When he's taken down, he's horrible, but his takedown defense, like, it's not that bad. Like, I would say I probably saw 10 people shoot takedowns on him, and probably like 3 of them had success, or 3 of those attempts out of 10, he's stuffed. Or no, he fucking got taken down. And then when he gets taken down, he's not looking good. But Gilbert Urbina is not a guy with great wrestling. On the feet, Gilbert Urbina just seems to get clipped by big shots. Vlasto Chepo's a guy that's going to throw straight volume, straight heat at your chin, and he will clinch up when he's tired. That's basically all that there is to his game. He gets taken down, he probably gets TKO'd or submitted. And as this fight extends, obviously Urbina probably is the guy that will win this fight. But Urbina, you know, like he's obviously probably a more well-rounded, more technical mixed martial artist. And if he's able to survive, then he probably wins this fight, which is why plus 250 is crazy. But Laszlo Cepo probably wins it by round 1 KO. And hopefully what is a generational slime out. Generational, hopefully. All right, let's go back here. Next fight of the card. We're going to go with Robert Valentin versus Duško Todorović. Horrible fight. Bullshit. Dog shit. When I see this on a main card, this is why everyone's calling this card so bad. And also for the fact that we have no name value, to be fair. But fucking Duško Todorović, shitty fighter. Robert Valentin, shitty fighter. I hate how much tape I fucking watched for this fight. It's kind of embarrassing. Because I should have just fucked off and lived my life. I literally had so much. I could have done so much other shit than watch this fucking fight. I'm picking Robert Valentin. I hate the pick. I think Duško Todorović and his durability is being massively underrated. Once again, one of these overblown narratives of the week. Duško's so chinny, bro. Dennis Buzukja couldn't take a punch from a fucking fly, bro. They actually are more durable than you think. They have been fighting killers in terms of the guys that find KOs on him. Mansur Abdulmalik, very powerful. This wasn't a real KO with the CLD fight. CLD ended up beating him because Duško injured his knee, which also isn't good to see. But yeah, Chidi Njokuani, big power puncher, KOs him. Gregory Rodriguez actually wasn't able to finish. Mansur, what's his fucking name? Duško Todorović. Todorović actually survived and had a close fight with Zach Reese, but it's fucking Zach Reese. And I think Zach Reese could beat a Robert Valentin just with how that stylistic matchup will play out. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in this fight. Both these fighters are shit. These are the type of fights I try not to bet simply because I hate watching shitty fights with money on them. And when Robert Valentin just does some low IQ bullshit and he loses your bet, don't get mad at me. I would not play this fight. I think there's probably value in Duško Todorović. And if the same Duško showed up in that Jordan Wright fight in this matchup, he probably wins. But I've seen the Medina fight. I've seen the Zach Reese fight. And Mansur Abdulmalik fight. And then that version of Duško Todorović is not the version of Duško Todorović I'm going to be picking to beat Robert Valentin. And even then, it's like, I'm not confident in Robert Valentin, even if that version of Duško Todorović shows up. But he's been slow. His striking defense isn't like horrible. He's not like retardedly chinny like people will say. It's not like the first shot that lands from Robert Valentin is guaranteed to knock him out. It could because Valentin does hit hard and he is a power puncher. But Valentin doesn't have good takedown defense. He got beat by Torres Finney. He got taken down and beaten by Ryan Loder on the Ultimate Fighter. So it's like, fuck. Robert Valentin on the feet is pretty dangerous. He overextends on punches, but he's got a good teep. He's got good low kicks. And he does kind of barge forward. He likes throwing spinning shit, which pisses me off. He's got good power. He's got good elbows. And something to mention too. If you go back, watch the Ultimate Fighter, that one KO where he finds that fucking elbow and knocks that guy out in the first round is similar to the kind of elbow that Chidi Njokuani landed on Duško Todorović. So maybe the elbows are live here. I'm honestly just not going to be playing this fight like I said. I think Todorović can find takedowns, but Valentin has the better jiu-jitsu. And Todorović, although he's shown a good ability to survive submissions, like that moment in first round from Chidi Njokuani, we had him in a Darce, and then he survives, got into good position. And there was another moment against Zach Reese where he survived and looked pretty good. And also another low-level fight. I want to say it was Jordan Wright, not Zach Reese. There was moments against Zach Reese too, but more so Jordan Wright. And Chidi Njokuani had him some deep submissions. Valentin's got a good submission game. I do think that Duško maybe will find a takedown. But to me, Valentin in that performance against Torres Finney, I don't know how you go through that and don't improve and don't fucking massively drill your takedown defense. He trains at Eric Nixick's team, whatever the fuck that's called. The Sean Strickland camp. I can't think of it. Sean Strickland, Fluffy, good grapplers over there, good sparring partners. I think that's good, especially for the middleweight division. Although I don't love Robert Valentin, I have to think he's improving his takedown defense. I have to think he's preparing for that in this fight. And on the feet, he's more dangerous. He seems like a guy that likes combat sports more than Duško Todorović. And Todorović does look a little bit washed to me. While I think he's more durable than people will say, and I could see him getting KO'd on the feet just because of the power of Valentin, I think that this will be a situation where Duško potentially shoots a takedown, bad one, and gets subbed with a front choke, or Valentin scrambles, finds a submission off the back. But I'm giving Robert like a 51% chance to win this fight. I can't trust recent form Duško. Might be some value on him though. So Robert Valentin is the pick. I'm going to go round 2. submission. Next fight of the card, Aleksandar Rakic versus Marcin Tybura. Tybura hasn't looked good. He lost to Tyrell Fortune, who just looked horrible against Rizvan Kuniev. And Kuniev's a pretty, he's a pretty technical striker, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. For the heavyweight division, he is kind of crazy, though, I guess. We're 45 minutes deep. All right, we'll wrap this one up quick. Aleksandar Rakic has a good frame for the heavyweight division. He was massive at light heavyweight. He's still got a great frame at the heavyweight division. Sure, he's been KO'd a couple times. And I think Marcin being at 256, 255, being a quicker guy, could potentially help him here. But Rakic has showcased a decent ability of success with the offensive grappling in this matchup. I think the defensive grappling should be able to be showcased here. He showcased some clinching potential. He's comfortable within the clinch. You can't really see in his last few fights. So I don't know why okay, let me try to break this down. Rakic is the more technical striker. We know that. He's got lighter man skill on his side. He's moving up. He's got probably the better frame for heavyweight. Like, weirdly enough, like he's got a heavyweight frame between Marcin Tybura and Aleksandar Rakic. I know Tybura is a blob, and he's the more of the traditional heavyweight guy, and he's just a fucking blob, and he's all strong and shit. Rakic, just frame-wise, in terms of who I would pick as a heavyweight coming into the UFC heavyweight division to succeed and go farther with the same style, I'm probably going with Aleksandar Rakic. I don't know if that makes sense, but Rakic is the more technical striker. He's not like insanely precise. Do I think he can find a KO? Yes, because I think Marcin Tybura is bad. I think he's probably like maybe a little bit washed. I don't like the optics against Tyrell Fortune. I think Rakic stuffs the takedowns. I'm pretty confident in this pick. At minus 340, that's around like a 77, 78% chance. I think that's right on the money. I wouldn't hammer it. Yeah, maybe I would. I'm probably going to bet it. We'll see, though. We'll see. Kind of concerned. But fuck that. Rakic should win this fight if he loses. It is what it is. He's gotten KO'd by guys that have good power that you could kind of see it coming from. Yuri, Azamat Mirzakhanov, and then even the fight against Magomed Ankalaev's kind of aged well. So I like Aleksandar Rakic. I think there's a world where he's like even just the better wrestler, and while Tybura might have the better submission game, like Aleksandar Rakic is probably just much better than him on the feet. Yeah, we'll see. If he gets KO'd, that'd be fucking hilarious though. But Rakic pick, round 2 KO, minus 340. That might be value. Wait to see my video coming out tomorrow about the betting picks for this card. And we have a fucking gardener blowing a fucking leaf blower right now. That's great. All right, Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Stirling. Co-main event. Shitski bud. Why are you guys so confident in Navajo Stirling? Am I the only one shitting my pants over this fucking breakdown? Like, why does it feel like Jan Blachowicz is going to win this fight? It does. I was going to pick him. I was trying to find ways to pick him, and I did find ways to pick him, but I got no fucking sack. I see that big plus money, and I get scared. I'm picking Navajo Stirling. I think there's a lot of things with this game that really, really do concern me. I think the fact that this is on short notice, and he was coming off a fucking bender, mate. All the cunts and the lads were going crazy, man. I was on holiday. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's funny. When it comes to his fighting mentality, even though I think he's a dog, it fucking scares me. All the shit he's saying throughout the week, man. It's like, shit, bro. What are you saying? I've heard him say he wants to fight a technical fight with Jan Blachowicz, and I'm thinking, dude, why? You know what I mean? Like, that's how you get your fucking leg chewed up. Jan Blachowicz establishes that jab, and if you watch a Navajo Stirling fight versus Adolfo Bellado, there was a couple times where Adolfo Bellado lands that jab, and it's not like Adolfo Bellado's known for the almighty jab. It's not like the fucking jab is the Adolfo Bellado fucking forte. It's not. And there was a couple times where that lands and Navajo Stirling gets a little bit wide-eyed and you're like, holy shit. And I'm watching Jan Blachowicz against Bogdan Guskov and I'm seeing him land that jab. And it's very similar shit from Bogdan Guskov in terms of a reaction. It goes wide-eye, fucking bites down on the mouthpiece a little bit, says, oh fuck, I don't want to get hit by that again. If Jan's establishing that jab early, if he's establishing that low kick early, I think he's very live to win this. I will be betting him. I don't know if it's money line or decision yet. Probably a little bit of both. By decision, plus 500, plus 550, I think could potentially be a gift from the books. I understand he's 43, and that's why I'm picking against him. But if you're going to come out here and say Navajo Stirling's been this ultra impressive prospect and you know he's going to be the future champion, I can't say that personally. What I will say, he's got good value, and I'm going to trust it to be carrying into this fight. But he's a big fucking guy, got a great frame for the light heavyweight division, and taking this on short notice could result in a tough weight cut. And if it looks a little bit rough on the scales, if you can tell he's having a tough time, dude, that might be a good time to place a on bet. It's a good fight to look out for because not only is he a big guy, he's taking this on short notice, coming off a bender. This might be a tougher weight cut. And I don't know if I can trust his volume later on in this fight, which is why I almost picked Jan Blachowicz. Obviously, we know about his almighty fucking calf kicks, man. The way he fucking got Magbanok alive doing the chicken dance, man. Oh, Jan Blachowicz, man. Man, made of fucking concrete. He's a good fighter. We know what Jan Blachowicz is. He's a technical maestro. He's a fucking crafty veteran, whatever you want to call it. I got a soft spot in my heart for Jan Blachowicz, and I'm trying to put my bias aside, so I'm picking Navajo. But all these fucking people just being through the roof confident that Navajo Sterling is going to beat him because he did what? He beat Ion Cutelaba? Man, miss me with that bullshit, bro. Jan Blachowicz won rounds 1, won round 3, and I want to say I thought he was winning round 2 until he got dropped. I could be off on that, though. I definitely could be off on that. But he came back after getting dropped in round 2 and dropped Bogdan Guskov in round 3, brother. That shit matters, brother. You're sitting here at plus 260. I don't understand this fucking line. And I know Navajo Sterling, yeah, he shoots some takedowns. Yeah, he has some grappling success. He's been taken down by Tuco Tacos. That's something to mention. He showcased some good takedown defense against Ion Cutelaba, but Cutelaba quit. Cutelaba quit, bro. And Navajo Sterling is quicker and more orthodox than a Bogdan Guskov, which will play into the favor of a Jan Blachowicz. The reason why I say that, Bogdan Guskov, hands low, weird counters off the back foot, quick, explosive, better power in my opinion. Navajo is a slower guy that will fight more from range, which will give Jan Blachowicz more opportunities to establish those patented tools. Man, the patented low kick, that jab, some of those meaty hooks. The reality is he is slower. I think he's been slower than he has been in the past, but not as slow as people are saying. I hear people saying, bro, Blachowicz looks so slow, bro. Like slower than anyone in the division. He looked so slow against Alex Pereira and arguably won that fight. Okay? I get it. I get the Navajo side. I don't get the overconfidence. I'm not sure he's got fucking devastating power, but what I will say is when I went back and rewatched his fights, he was a little bit quicker than I remembered. He has been coming into his own a little bit more recently. Not that they're world beater performances, but before I was always complaining about the way he throws his hooks or his combination. It feels like he's thinking about every single strike that he's throwing rather than just fucking flowing and throwing them. I think now he's gotten better at being a little bit more of a flow state Navajo. Flow state ho. You know what I'm saying? A little Nav up in this bitch. But he's a cool guy. He's a funny guy. I think he is pretty easy to root for. Outside of the fact that I've been trying to fade him for a long time, but there's never been the matchup that have come. This probably is the fight. Like I said, I'll have a little bit on Jan, either decision or by money line or both, probably. Just a little bit, because I'm not sold on Navajo. I haven't seen it. But on the feet, while I think Jan Blachowicz is the more technical striker, he is 43. He did just get clipped. Navajo might be the guy to KO him just because Jan Blachowicz's chin could be washed, but I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on that. You know, when he gets KO'd, he gets KO'd. He is coming off a double shoulder surgery. But on the feet, I think something that Navajo will have a lot of success with is those teeps to body from range. He has a crazy frame. I think that could just be his bread and butter in this fight. I wish I could trust Navajo to stick his jab more, move around, land some low kicks. And even when you land low kicks on Jan Blachowicz, man, it hurts your leg a little bit too. So if I'm Navajo, I'm landing that jab from range, circling, and then just spamming fucking teeps, dude. And he does have a good body combination that he throws within the clinch. I would just be aware. I would use the frame advantage as much as I can. And I would do my best not to get drawn into a fucking technical maestro kind of fight. And if you are drawn into a technical maestro kind of fight, make sure to explode and kind of try to find those straight punches down the pipe to have that in the back of Jan Blachowicz's mind whenever he's throwing strikes, if that kind of makes sense. So like I said, I think Guskov on the feet might be a tougher stylistic matchup for Jan Blachowicz, but coming off a shoulder surgery after just getting hurt against the guy with the big frame who's going to, I think, have a lot of success with those teeps from range and has been good with volume. Like, if you actually think about it, Jan Blachowicz has had a lot of success throughout his career, but when it comes to fighting guys with like a lot of volume that will just throw a lot, like nothing really comes to mind. Like Bogdan kind of will fight off the back foot. He'll be volume at times, but when he turned up the volume kind of in round 3, he had some success for sure. Like he started out in that round looking good, was clipping Jan with like some of the extended combinations. You know, Alex Pereira, he wasn't like fucking extending his combinations all that much. He looked very good against Carlos Ulberg, and I understand like this right here. These are 3 losses, especially don't really like move me that much in terms of him being ass. I think his takedown defense is being underrated as well. Like he stuffed he got taken out 2 out of 10 times from Ankalaev, right? That's good. That's good shit. Aleksandar Rakic, 1 of 4. Yes, he got taken down by Glover Teixeira, and that didn't look good. But once again, light heavyweight division, Glover Teixeira became champ at 42 years old. But right as he hit that 43-year-old mark, man, Jamal Hill dominated the shit out of him. So do with that information what you will. Maybe 43 years old is the cursed number. But if there's anybody that can pull this out of their ass, and if there's anybody that's going to fuck it up too, it would be Navajo. Jan Blachowicz would be the guy at 43 years old who hasn't had this steep of a decline that I'm hearing everybody talk about this week. I don't think he's as slow as people have been saying, and he's always been kind of slow, guys. He's always been kind of slow. Yes, is he slower? Yes. Is it significantly slower? I don't fucking know, man. And Navajo is the kind of guy that just go tit for tat for Jan Blachowicz because he's stupid. But for the reasons I named, I'm going with Navajo Stirling by decision. Don't bet the money line. Maybe you do. Maybe you look like a genius. Like I said, I do like Navajo. I think he's fucking hilarious. I watch his kick. But his mentality coming into this fight is very scary. Very scary. Very scary. So that's the breakdown on this fight. Let's go to the main fight of the evening. Main event of the evening. Bogdan Guskov versus what the fuck am I saying? We moved on from that main event a week ago, and I'm happy about it. Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez. I love Uros Medic. I'm a big fan of him. Minus 425. Don't make sense, my boy. It's going to be bad. Daniel Rodriguez was in jail. Potentially drug dealing, drug smuggling, whatever he was doing. The story is that he brought across just a little bit of weed from the California and San Diego border. Not San Diego, fucking hell. California and Mexico border. And then from there, he was in jail for 8 months. He said he lost 15 pounds of muscle. Yeah, that's not good, man. That ain't good. And yes, I know he just beat Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland's a guy that, like, weirdly enough, could KO Uros Medic. Anyone could KO an Uros Medic, man. I bet this guy, like, at minus 140 against Punahele Soriano. It moved to like minus 250. And I thought I was the sharpest dude of all time. And he gets slimed in the first fucking round, bro. And I promise you guys, Punahele Soriano is not this fucking fantastic fighter. At least not at that point for sure. Like Punahele, arguably at that point, should have been fucking cut, if I remember correctly. Could be off. But Uros is the kind of guy that will KO or get KO'd. And he will take risks. And I picked him against Jeff Neal just because I thought he was the quicker guy. I thought he would find a shot. Jeff Neal a little bit slower and does get hit. Uros is the kind of guy that could clip a guy like Jeff Neal. Stylistically here, like he should KO Daniel Rodriguez in the first round. I'm not saying he shouldn't. Let's go to Punahele Soriano, just so I'm not capping out my Kirk real quick. I ain't talking about Kirk. What are we seeing here? Yeah, I'm tripping a little bit. No, he lost to Roman Kopylov, lost to Dustin Stoltzfus. Yeah, okay, like maybe he should have been cut like here, but I'm kind of glad they didn't. Like he's been fun. He's been doing very good since. So maybe that's not that bad of a loss. Maybe I'm tripping a little bit. All right. Uros Medic, regardless, he's been hurt by Matthew Semmelsberger. He was dropped by Gilbert Urbina. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many bad moments. He's been KO'd by Punahele Soriano. And while I've been trying to be the guy that's high on him, I've been trying to be the guy preaching the Uros train, the doctor, bro. He's a Chad. He's fucking fun to watch, man. He's so fun to watch. He absolutely can't get KO'd. Daniel Rodriguez, awkward timing, hurting a guy like Kevin Holland. That was like, what the fuck, dude? Did he have stone in his gloves? Like, Kevin Holland has a really good chin. That was not something I was expecting by any means. He's a little bit awkward, and I guess sort of like that Nate Diaz type, where he just throws like gritty combinations, not really quick twitch at all. Definitely will get hit, and if you're getting hit against Uros Medic with the power he has, with the speed that he has, he's probably getting KO'd. Me and Gary KO'd D-Rod in the first round. Once again, that was a head kick, but I think Uros Medic probably snipes him round one. Definitely probably does. I will have a bet on the under 1.5, but once again, tune into my betting breakdown tomorrow. Uros Medic is the pick, minus 400. That's a choice. That's a choice. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm cheering for Uros. I like this guy a lot. I think he'll be in some very fun matchups in the welterweight division. I don't know if he's going to be a future champ. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, like he's a very fun fighter to watch. And we should get some violence here. We should get a finish probably in the first 2 rounds, realistically. Even from D-Rod, I could see D-Rod clipping Uros and having success. Like, don't be surprised if Uros somehow gets dropped in the first round and then Uros comes back and just fucking murks him. Hopefully a generational slime out. Nothing against D-Rod. But I'm just a fan of Uros. I think he's He's really fun to watch. But I'm not going to act like he's a world beater, bro. There's some people are saying, bro, Uros, man, like when this guy gets to the top, he's going to fuck everybody up, bro. I don't know why this whole week we're pretending like Uros is this fucking insane prospect, like he hasn't been dropped by Urbina, hurt by Semmelsberger, KO'd by Soriano, bro. He has a very good ability to get fluked, which is why when he fought Jeff Neal, as much as I wanted to hammer him, because I'm like, dude, this makes sense, I could barely place a bet on this guy. I placed like a fucking half a unit bet. It hit. I felt good. But like going into fights, you just have to be aware of this potential of him getting fluked, even if he is the better striker. Like, he just allows himself to get hit. People are comparing him to Terrence McKinney, where it's do or die, and I think that's fair to say. So this has been the full card prediction and breakdown, man. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. I probably said it like 5 times. You guys probably already know, but I'm going to be posting a betting breakdown where I'm telling you what I'm betting, how we're going to make some bread. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Make sure to follow the Twitter, which I want to say is up here somewhere. Let's pull it up. We're going to be posting some more shit throughout the week on here. Smeezy MMA right here. Go follow me. I'll give you a follow back. Yeah, I'm excited for this card. Let me know how you guys feel. Let me know what you agree with, disagree with. Let's make some bread this weekend. All right, baby. Take care. Peace.